Okay, Becky, we're just waiting for people to start chiming in.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, man. Okay. Okay, we're just waiting for people to come in. Okay, so while we're waiting, so I know that people are going to be able to see what we're talking about. Wow, put some motion on. What we're talking about in the title. So the title is "Why Do Women Think Men Cheat?" So that is the title that we're going to be talking about today. And I am actually, because I have my laptop right here, so I was looking up some different things just to like kind of see like like the what is it, like the statistics of it. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I was looking here and I had typed in I typed in why do women think men cheat? Why do women think men cheat? So and then it says here it says women perceptions of men cheating are often influenced by a combination of factors including relationship dynamics, societal expectations and personal experiences. While infidelity can be a complex issue with various underlying reasons. Some general perspective includes the belief that men may seek variety or validation outside of their primary relationships. And then it also says that additionally, societal norms and media portrayals can shape expectations and lead women to more attuned to potential signs of infidelity.
And I understand that. I was watching something, and I think it was Shaquille O'Neal, and he was saying that there's three types of cheaters, and he was saying it was um the
Writing this down.
serial cheater. He said it was the 007 cheater and the forced cheater.
Worst.
So when he broke it down, he was saying that the serial cheaters are somebody just cheats just because it's just cheat. The 007 is like, I'm on a trip, I'm away, there's a little something right there, I'm gonna do that with no one knowing, right? And then he said, then it's the force. So when you come home from work or you come home and you ask your wife or girlfriend, come on, let's do this. And they're like, no, I don't feel like it. You ask again, no, I don't feel like it. No, I don't want to. I'm not feeling that. And then they feel like they're forced to cheat.
Wow. So you said three different ones. You said serial, forced, and you said double 007.
Yes, that's like, sneaky undercover. I'm out of the country, so I may do a little something.
Okay, so my thing is a lot of I hear a lot of women talk, right? When you hear like famous women, like for example, what is her name? What is that one girl from it's she's from a group, but I hear like Glorilla, like different girls say all men cheat. No matter what happens, what you do, how great you are of a person, all men cheat. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't agree with that because I feel that a lot has to do with the man himself. A man that is confident, don't have insecurity issues, don't have an addicted personality, won't have the need to cheat, right? I feel that each man is different. That you do have men that that cheat, and you have men that have no desire to cheat. And if a man is getting everything that he desires within himself, and the woman adds to that, I don't feel that it's a reason to cheat.
Okay, so everything you said sounds amazing, and I love the advice and everything that you're saying. And my question is that So let's say to a woman that's doing everything, right?
Hmm.
She's doing everything that she possibly can, but the guy's still cheating. Is he a serial cheater? Is it just in him? Like, it's just you think some men just have it in them? That's just what they do. They're just a cheater. Or do you
Yes.
think that stems with
No,
uh
it has nothing to do with the other person, because a lot of times it's just the person itself, the insecurity that they have. The if they have abandonment issues, they're looking for someone to constantly validate that. Um, so that wouldn't have anything to do with the other person. The other person can do everything that they can do. They can, be available to them at will. And the person still desires someone else, and that's just because of something within that person.
and you know what I was gonna touch on? Because this is something that I'm really, really curious and wanna know. Like, my thing is that let's say I have a husband or a boyfriend that cheats on you, right? And then the woman finds out. I feel like the first thing you do is that you start internalizing it. And it's hard not to internalize it. You start thinking of, okay, so start their actions start making you second guess who you are as a person. What would you say you can do to not internalize it and put it in that perspective of that's just what that person chooses to do and not has everything to do with them but not me.
Oh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one, because the first thing you do is look at what I'm doing. I'm not perfect enough. I need to be prettier. I need to lose weight. I need to you know don't be so outspoken. You start to think about the things in yourself that you feel you need to change. I think that's just a natural reaction. And a lot of people don't want to just look at it that this person is just not the person. And this person is someone who don't have difficulties with being with one person, has nothing to do with me. And then I really need to make a choice. Do I want to continue to deal with this, or do I want to move on?
And you know what? I think it's hard too because it's like, let's say, like, for example, and I think this still ties into what we're talking about. Like, let's say, for example, you see the woman that your or boyfriend's cheating with, right? And you see that they're totally opposite than what you are. I think I spilled my water. And I think that you did say that that's natural, but that also do you kind of get what I'm where I'm coming from? Like
I get that.
go ahead, sorry. Hold on. Are you there? Uh-oh, I think we lost her. Let's see. Oh, you there? Okay, you guys. I think we're having some tech difficulties. I'm just gonna wait, give her a moment to join back in. I'll be right back. I done spilled all my water on the floor.
Okay, I'm back. It was a little bit of difficulties. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was waiting because I was like
Oh,
mute.
a phone call kept coming in.
Oh, it sounds like somebody I know. Is that the person?
They're probably gonna start calling you too.
Okay, hold on. Give me one moment. Hold on. Did you see that? I almost fell. Okay.
Okay, so what I was saying in a previous relationship, I was with someone that cheated. Um, and yes, when I like was able to see like who they were cheating with, they were normally like light complected, light skinned, um, built completely different from me because I was very small, little. But they were very like big chested, big booty, and light complected. Something the things that I am not. Um, so I immediately thought, like, why are you with me? Because I don't even fit the picture of the people that you're selecting to engage in these, extra activities with. So it was very difficult for me. It was very difficult.
So did it make you kind of reflect and kind of question yourself? Like when I was saying that sometimes with my like in the past or my situation, I will kind of like internalize it. So you're saying you had a period of time where you did kind of internalize it a little bit?
Yes,
You
yes, I
did.
did. I
Okay.
did. And then I started to realize that it had nothing to do with me at all. Right. And this person dealt with abandonment issues. So that's always a difficult thing to deal with, and especially be with someone who has abandonment issues.
I was gonna say that. So with you saying that this person that you were with prior had abandonment issues, how do you like that's something that they have to fix themselves, right? So you just kind of like just guide them and help them through it?
Well, you can't because you can have conversations and say, I feel that you should, go see someone and talk about this. And then they feel like, no, I don't. It is what it is. I'm dealing with it. When inside it really bothers them a lot. That the fact that the person that they felt should have always kept and fought for them choose not to, right? And so then they just start to look for certain things in different people to feel validated, to feel like you're special, you're amazing, oh, you're great. They need it from everybody instead of just trying to get with the person that abandoned them and work through it and allow that person to understand what they're dealing with and work through it to
Together,
heal, to
together.
heal. Yeah, and
Exactly,
to
right.
heal from it. To heal, to become a better man.
And the thing is that I feel like if like let's say the person that has the abandonment issues, let's say if they feel abandoned, I'm echoing. Do you hear me? I think I'm echoing a little bit.
Yeah, I can hear you. You don't sound like you're ugly.
Okay, let me turn my volume. Okay. So for like example, like let's say if it's whoever the person is and they feel abandoned from their like their mom or their dad or whoever may be the person. I feel like that person will be able if they allow that person to come in to help them work through those feelings if they allow it. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know what? They can, but a lot of people that has abandoned a child or abandoned somebody is in denial of it, and they really don't own their part in it, or they make light of it, or they can't really see how it's making the other person feel, and they try to justify it and then dismiss that person's feelings. Now, I've dated more than one person with abandonment issues. I've dated two people with abandonment issues, um, and it's very difficult because even when they one person did try to speak to their mother about it and things of that nature, and they were very dismissive of it and trying to make justify it and trying to feel like the person should have just deal with it, shouldn't be bothering them. So it's difficult, and
And
that's what a person who suffers from abandonment, that they don't need to hear that. They need to hear, I made a decision at that time and I apologize because it wasn't the best decision that I could have made for you. But I made it at the time of what I was dealing with.
you know what? I think that a lot of people, like the person that done the abandonment what is it like act or whatever, I feel like it's hard for them to face what they did. I think it's too much they can handle. I think.
Right, right,
Yeah, I
right.
think it's too much. I mean, I feel like everybody that's in that situation, you got to do what you got to do in that time. And
Hmm.
the other person that's abandoned, they don't understand that. They feel like there's nothing you shouldn't have done. You shouldn't abandon me. But
Right.
I feel like there's two sides to the story. I don't know what you feel about that, but I feel like it's too.
It is two sides to the story, but you have to realize too, you like we don't have no idea what that person went through, what happened to
That's
that
what I was
person,
gonna say.
sort of thing.
Yep.
So if that person was abandoned or given to someone else and bad things happen to them, that's even deeper because now every time the bad thing happened or whatever they experienced, they blame that person that left them. Right?
Right.
Because that person failed to protect them. That person left them in a situation that they shouldn't. And some people never feel like I want to share that these are the things that happened to me with the person that abandoned me. Why would I give them, you know, that? Why would I let them know? They didn't care, you know? So it becomes very tricky. And then that's when you get these men that are just cheaters.
Sorry, hold on. Crying babies. Okay.
And then you
Sorry.
know what? Then you have men that don't cheat physically, but cheat mentally because they didn't they didn't get enough things from their parents. Like I love you, validation. They didn't get all that, so they love it when someone listens to them and values them and just talks to them and things of that nature. And that's enough for them. That gets them completely off with that. They don't have to ever do anything. That's just enough.
Well,
So
I'm
you
I'm gonna
have
ask you a
different
question.
ones.
Not to cut you off, because we're gonna talk about that one. So my thing is that which one do you think is worse? Physically cheating or emotionally cheating?
Oh, that's a tricky one. It depends because physically it's a spirit trans, you're transferring, what is it? Your spirit, you're intimate.
Right.
So that's a certain deepness of a spiritual level. Um, the mental is deep too because it's normally forming a connection that is way deeper than the physical. It's can be love. It can turn into love. So both of them is bad.
And that's what I was gonna say too, because I'm like, if you're mentally connecting with somebody, y'all can mentally connect first, and then you bring the physical part into it. It's a done deal.
Right.
Versus you spiritually, physically connect to somebody, and then it may can turn into that. It may not, But I know a lot of people saying that when it comes to physical intercourse, that it's sometimes just an act. There's nothing behind it.
Right. Right.
So, but still, I think both of them are tricky. But I feel like that emotional, that's just like that's on a whole nother level. That's my
Yeah.
opinion, though. I don't know. Yeah,
No, I agree.
yeah. I feel like that's on a whole nother level. So my question is that if you're with somebody that keeps cheating, like I see a lot of women complain, but they stay.
I can honestly say I stayed for many years, right? Um, I can just tell you I look at the bigger picture, right? Do I love this person unconditionally? Which I did. Um, does this person, when I write down the good and the bad, is the good outweighing the bad? Which it did. That person happened to be my best friend. Um, that person happened to be everything to me. Um, it still didn't justify the cheating. I didn't stay knowing that he was cheating. It was always, I'm not going to do it no more. I'm doing better. I'm going to talk to a pastor, this and that. So it was always that. And it was always a period of time when I felt that he wasn't cheating, which he could have been, right? So it was never just blatant, yes, this is what I do. I'm just cheating on you. It was never that. It was always the hope of him not cheating and him telling me he's not cheating and him promising me that he's not going to cheat again, um, things of that nature. So it was never just like I'm in this relationship and he's just outright cheating in my face. It was never that.
So my question is that when he used to tell you that like he is changing, do you really feel like he was really trying to make the steps to become a better man to change the cheating ways?
Yes,
So you really do feel like he was really trying hard, but
yes, but
sometimes he just messed
he
up.
just lost the battle.
But he tried.
Yeah, tried,
So he
but he
tried.
lost the battle.
But he
Yeah.
lost the battle, but he tried. See, that's the thing is like at least like you can respect a man that's like trying, going to
Absolutely.
counseling, trying to do everything right. You know what I mean? Trying to change their ways. But I mean, we all have problems. I feel like cheating. So for you, I know I like so is cheating a non-negotiable now that you're in another part of your life, right? Is cheating a non-negotiable for you now?
Okay, so now that I'm married and I am older, most definitely. That's non-negotiable. That's I'm not gonna have that, right? If you this age and cheated, you need to be slapped, right? I'm saying you too old to be to be that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm too old to be dealing with it. I'm too old to be going back and forth with anybody on the phone about my husband or anything. I'm too old. I'm just not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And if you're on that, I can't do it. And so far, I've been with my husband now for 5 years, and I haven't had any issues at all. Nothing that would even make me believe that that's what he's doing, right? Um, so I don't, and I'm a better person too. After everything I experienced, I'm better. I'm a better wife. So I'm more aware and I communicate and I'm more aware of his needs and I'm more willing to make sure that I'm there to support him in the ways that he needs to be supported and vice versa, right? But I wouldn't be able to do it now, right? I did it for many years, for 22 years, I do believe. I dealt with someone that cheated. I don't have one more year in me. I don't. I can't. I can't.
But you know what I'm
We just
thinking?
gotta
But
go our
honestly,
separate ways.
see, like me, like being like now I'm a woman and at 33 years old, I can't picture myself being on the phone, nobody calling me, talking about, do you know your husband? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I would probably hang up on the person because I'm like, we too grown in our 30s
Right.
calling each other
Right. Are
and
telling
people
me
fight
anything.
or telling me anything like we just too old for that. I feel like I got too much class. I don't know if
I don't
that's
need to be looking in your phone or feel that I need to look in your phone. I don't need to do any of that. I'm too old for that. If I gotta look in your phone and I need to know your password or stuff, we don't need to be together. Because that's
right.
just too much. That's just too much.
But you know, right.
And when you're in a relationship that's healthy, oh my God, it feels so amazing. And it feels just great to be in a relationship where you know that this person loves you for you, and this person is your teammate and your ride or die, and this person desires you and only you. That's a blessing, and I'm just enjoying it and praying, and we pray together. You know, we make sure that we both are very open about our communication about everything, for we won't have those type of problems cheating and things of that nature, right? Um, which is a great place to be at this time in life.
Yes, and you know what I was gonna say? Because with you, the one of the things that you said that stood out to me is communication. I feel like if you and your partner are communicating and you guys are honestly communicating, that can really stop a lot of things from happening. I feel like
Oh
when you
no,
really know,
it
it
does.
does.
It does. And the thing about it too is that when you have a person that you believe is your person and sent to you by God, which I really believe that my husband is sent to me by God. He is a blessing. And I wouldn't do anything. I won't compromise the relationship or any of that. And I respect his boundaries. He respects my boundaries. But we do talk about everything, right? Everything. We talk about everything. Um, so then that way I can allow him to enjoy life without him feeling that he's under a magnifying glass. Right, and I understand that
Mm.
he's different from anybody I've ever been with. He is not those men's in the past that have cheated on me or things of that nature. He is not that person. And so I most definitely do not compare him or think that he does anything that they done because he doesn't give me any reason to do so.
Gotcha. And then my thing
Right.
is that you saying that now you're in like a healthy relationship and you're just like in the moment and just really like loving every moment of it. So you do believe that there is a such thing as, well, I think you represent that there's a such thing as having a healthy relationship.
Yes, yes. Oh, it most definitely is. It's most definitely is. When both of you people, like when both of you, your husband and yourself or your boyfriend, right, and individually, sorry, stand alone, that you are happy with yourself and you're okay with being by yourself, and then you meet someone that is on that same level, I think it's amazing because that person they love being by themselves. They love themselves. They had no insecurities. They're strong about who they are. So they're bringing you the best of them. So together, you guys can be great together. But I think when that person is looking for somebody because they're lonely or they need that person, they need someone else because they need help or they need something, then that's when the relationship just does not work. It does not work. You have to be able to be happy with just being by yourself.
And I think a lot
You
of people
can't
have
be
a
you
hard
can't
time
be
with that, codependent.
you can't be codependent. Yeah, you most definitely can't be codependent.
But a lot of
And
people
when
are.
my husband, when I met my husband, he wasn't. My husband was single when we got together, and he had been single for a minute, for a while, and he was happy with just his life and the way he was, and so he was not looking to thinking that he was going to be married. It was just something that happened for both of us because I wasn't even thinking about ever being married again, right, in life.
So you didn't want
But
to be married.
no, I didn't. I
No.
didn't. I already done it once and had no desire to do it again. Um, but everything changed. Everything changed.
And you know that's so crazy because you hear a lot of people that say like, "Oh, like after their first marriage, I'm done, and I'm
Mhm.
done." So that can always, I can see in your case, change. It can always change.
Right. It can always change.
And see, I think that's like that's a beautiful thing. So your husband, after everything you went through, you end up finding or having a husband that's, what is it, one in a million? Because a lot of people think that they cannot find a healthy relationship with a man that does not cheat.
Well, I can tell you that my first husband, I met him when I was young. He's my first and everything. So we grew up together. So that's different. We grew up together. So that means we were growing up together. He was growing up together. He was not a man. I was, we both were kids and we grew up together. So we went through everything together. So that's a different relationship. So my second marriage, my marriage now, we both met each other as adults. We've already been through a whole bunch of stuff, so we're better people.
Gotcha.
So we're at a different stage in our life where we're better. So that's two different relationships.
I wasn't referring to that one. I'm referring to other people that you kind of
Oh, in
talk to
between.
in
Oh,
between.
okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
when I'm referring
Okay.
back, I'm not referring back to that relationship.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
referring back to other things that other people that you interacted with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm
other
saying.
people. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they say you have to kiss probably a few frogs before you get to your prince.
And that's what I was gonna say. So I was saying that, like, not talking about the marriage, but other people
Right.
you
Right.
interact
Right.
with. You know, I'm
Right.
pretty sure saw like, no, 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 no. And I know some people lose hope when it comes to dating, but you just kind of like, you know, just took time back, focus on yourself, and then you're able to find that person that God has for you.
Right, right. And I was very I can say I'm very thankful because the man that I did meet, I can say that none of them was bad people. Like none of them was bad or anything of that nature. I was blessed to have, pretty good man in my life. They just wasn't who God had for me.
Facts.
Right?
And I noticed that too, because even
Right.
with in my life, I've came across people that men that I interacted with, they're good men. I don't feel like
Yeah.
they're the men for me, but that doesn't take from who they are as a person. But I also was gonna second back when you were saying with your marriage, how um you and your husband got together young. My husband and I, we got together really young. And
Hmm.
so when you grow up together, you both are gonna make mistakes. You both are
Right.
learning how to be
Right.
married. You guys are
Right.
still learning what God thinks of marriage.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
It's all a learning experience, and you guys are learning together. You don't have a clue. And then, you know, later in life, as you grow, then you start to respect boundaries. You start to really respect and love your spouse, and you value them. And so you don't want to do anything to compromise that relationship or that love, right? Because I can honestly say, like, I don't want to lose my husband. I don't want to get a divorce from my husband, and so I'm not going to do things for those things to happen, so I'm not going to even take risk like that, right? Because it's not a lot of men out there that's like my husband, right? So I don't want to take no risk on any or anything like that and jeopardize losing him.
And then what I was gonna say is that from you talking about your husband, you could tell when a man is emotionally intelligent. And I feel like when a man is emotionally intelligent and they're content with themselves, they're not gonna tolerate much. I don't know if you could second that, but am I if I'm making sense?
No,
Like I
no,
feel like
that's
they
very
know what
true.
they want. They know
Right,
they're not gonna play games. They're not gonna deal with like a deal with a unhealed woman. That's what I'm
right,
saying.
right, right,
They're
right.
not
Because my
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, my husband has clear boundaries, and I know what what those boundaries is, and they're very clear, right? And so, and I respect that. I respect that, and I could say, the whole time we've been together, 5 years, he's never yelled at me. He's never sweared at me. He's never called me anything but Becky, love you, babe, hun, sweetie, ever, never, right? But I've never yelled at him, and I've never sweared at him, and I've never called him names or anything of that nature, right? Because the boundaries is clear. I know that he ain't gonna be, he's not gonna be tolerating me calling him out his name or treating him any disrespectful way because he doesn't treat me that way, and he don't deserve that, right? So we never got to that point ever, right? And I really will try to never get to that point because believe he deserves better than that, right? And then hopefully he believes I deserve better than that.
And I like that you're saying that you guys both treat each other with respect. And I feel like that's kind of like a hard ground to kind of follow. Like me over the years, I had to work on my mouth because I didn't really know how to effectively communicate or talk to, let's say, a man.
Right,
So I had to learn, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to talk to a certain talk to your spouse in a certain type of way. So as I started getting older, I started learning the proper way of how to communicate. So that's something that I had to work on because I
right,
think it, I
right,
just say it. I don't care how it sounds, but that's not fair to the other person.
right. Very true,
Yeah. And
very
that's
true.
not respecting the
And
person too.
right, right. Because a lot of times we have to reflect and look back at ourselves and see ways that we can be better and what we're doing to cause this situation, right? And so, because sometimes we have to change ourselves. And if I'm always nagging and tearing you down and putting you down, then how do I get mad because you cheated, right? Because especially with a woman, everything's mental. If you make me not feel good mentally, you're not, stimulating me mentally. My body is not going to respond to that. I'm not going to want you touching me. I'm not going to want to be you being interacting with you, right? But if you stimulating me mentally, then yeah, most definitely is, and the same vice versa.
And I agree with that because I have
Mhm,
some friends that said that, like, say, like their husband, the way their husband talks to them, eh, later their husband wants to be like intimate.
mhm.
And they're like, "What? Like you just cussed me out or
Right,
disrespected me, and now you're expecting me to show you love?"
right,
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I. And you know what? A healthy communicating is very hard for a lot of people. A lot of people don't know or were not taught how to healthy communicate.
right, right.
Yeah.
And
So
and I wasn't either. In my younger days, no. I just said whatever, no matter how
you
crazy it was. And it was, yeah, and it was no boundaries, right? In my first relationship, there was no boundaries. We didn't have any boundaries because we grew up together. So there was no boundaries. We just got the worst, the good, and everything of each other, right? Um, and as I got older, I started to realize that's not healthy. That's you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't say these things to somebody that you love. You know, you really shouldn't treat somebody you love like that, right? And I started to learn that and value that. So I can most definitely say now my husband has the best of me, of who I am now.
And you know what I was gonna say to that is that um wait, it kind of slipped because I was thinking you said a lot. There's one thing that I'm trying to have it come back to me. Sorry, I got like a baby I can hear.
Okay.
So let me what is it? You said something that stuck with me. Oh, boundaries. Boundaries. So that's what stuck with me. You said with your first husband, there is no boundaries.
Correct.
Now, I didn't know what having boundaries were or what it looked like. I didn't know that you can be with somebody and I was just like we just riding and we dying together. That's it. Like we ride and that's it. I didn't know that you can say, hey, look, you're doing this. This is going against my boundary. I'm not tolerating that.
Right.
Married and all.
Right.
And I feel like that's good to learn boundaries. Because if not, it's just gonna be just a hot mess.
Yes, it is.
Yes, a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was gonna say is that what about to the women that don't have I'm still echoing. Am I echoing on your side?
No, you sound fine.
I know I'm not good. Okay. To the women that feel like there's no hope or feel like they can never have a man be faithful to them, what are your things? What would you say to them?
I would say self care, to just work on their self, work on their boundaries, and pray and pray. Wait, hold on one second. That's my husband. One second.
Okay, mute the phone. Mute the phone.
Okay, yeah, so they're installing new AC units. So I have to come look at something. But this has been great, Mai. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. And we'll do it again. Okay. Love
All
you.
right. Love you.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.